Hi, Martin Yusuf here. Today I'm talking about lemurian seed wands. Now this is a lemurian seed wand. It's a quartz crystal, and most of them are mined in South America, but some of them are mined in Africa as well, and you actually get quartz crystals in Australia as well. This one is a very special and unique crystal, and if you have a look on this side, it has a trigger carved into it, and it has some striations, which is not very clear, but it has some striations cut across the tip of it, and it's also called a window crystal. And I've never seen a crystal like this, mainly because it's been cut by the hand or machine, I'm not sure, but it's a very powerful crystal. And the thing is with lemurian seed wand crystals is they don't look attractive, and they're not specifically for adornment or for jewellery. And a lot of people use crystals for jewellery, and they just miss the whole idea of it. Lemurian seed wands, of course, channel white light, and white light is very healing and beneficial for the system, and it's really the start of spiritual development. I've had this lemurian seed wand in my possession for probably about 20 years now, and I've used it several times. And the thing that I notice about crystals anyway is that they tend to have a mind of their own. And I've done layouts and I've worked with crystals many times, and crystals, they build up the energy, and sometimes they charge energy from the sun or the moon, and they react with the forces of nature and the interaction of your consciousness combined. And crystals really release energy when they decide to, and you can program them and speak into them and suggest whatever you like, but they really do not work, I've found, on that basis. The crystals are very curious things, and I'm really not sure after all this time how they work. You know, I've read probably about 4 or 5 books about crystals, and I understand theoretically how they work, but they just tend to release the energy when they're ready to. I've had a lot of experiences, and when these lemurian seed wands, when they release this white light, it goes into your system and it heals you at the level that you need to be healed. And I was having a chat to a friend the other day, and he was saying that a spirit, or the Holy Spirit, visited him in the morning, and it took him straight into his inner child and to a place where he didn't trust himself. And the spirit is the white light, and I've had a similar experience with this crystal recently also, where it generates white light and then it goes to the part of your system that needs the most work. For me, I find it quite repetitive and mundane. It seems to always go to the inner child, and it always goes to the emotional core. And I find this quite tedious, but it's an area which I need to devote the most work to, which I'm obviously the most damaged in, so I continue to work on the inner child model. And the inner child model and crystals work very well together. The crystals open the energy centres of the body, and you know, they're living consciousness, they're living light, so I guess they know the best area in which problems need to be resolved. So the lemurian seed wands, I'll show the wand again, they are quite ugly looking crystals, and this crystal is chunky and it's marked, and if you have a look, it's cloudy in the middle around the centre, and when I first got it, it was clear all the way through. And I think this has got something to do with humidity, and sometimes they cloud up and sometimes they go clear. So the thing I like about this is chunky, and it's coarse, and it's like a rough diamond, which I'm really like, so it really reminds me of me. But these are great crystals, and they draw in a lot of energy, and they're also like a master crystal, which means that they can draw energy from other crystals, and they'll do this when they're ready to, and they decide that they want to work with you. And no amount of coaxing. I mean, I could work with the crystal every single day and not get any results if that's the way it's deemed to go. The other thing about the lemurian seed wands, and if you want to bond with a crystal and you want to learn to connect with its energy, one thing you can do is you can stick it in a glass of water or a litre of water and stick it in the sun for a day, and then after 2 or 3 days drink the water, and that's a good way of connecting to the energy of the crystal. And crystal water is very light, it tastes very clear. The crystals tend to filter the water and the impurities out of the water somehow. I'm not sure how that happens. They release prana, or the life force, into the water. Drinking the water is a very good thing to do. So, that's not a crystal I would wear. And when the energy is very high in the cycle of the moon and it's emitting a lot of energy, sometimes I'll have to cover it over and put it in a box because the energy is too strong. But when it produces high energy, you feel very light and floating, quite ethereal. And the point is to try and ground that energy as much into the body as you can over a period of days. When you're interacting with a crystal, you know when the crystal started to operate because everything becomes very, very clear and very lucid. You can see in front of you for probably a longer distance than you'd normally be able to see. Everything looks very clear and very defined, and you know when you get this dynamic clarity that the crystal has started to operate and work within you or around you or in your system. So crystals are really for amplification and directing energy, and a Lemurian seed wand actually is much more powerful than a clear quartz crystal. I should know, I've had a lot of these crystals. The clear quartz crystals, some of them don't have hardly any energy inside them, and there's nothing you can do about it. It depends how they've been cut and fashioned. And the ones tumbled and with smooth polished surfaces, some of them have energy, but if you're for a serious spiritual practitioner, they don't have any value at all. Clear quartz crystals generally have value, and Lemurian seed wands have much more value. And you probably wouldn't wear a Lemurian seed wand as an adornment or even for protection. If you're going to wear a crystal for psychic protection, probably the best ones to wear are rose quartz around the heart. Rose quartz is a very, very protective, healing energy. And if you want protection from crystals, they're only going to afford you a certain amount of protection. I sleep with the Lemurian seed wand near to my bed, and if any negative energy comes in, I can point the crystal to it and dispense some light through the crystal. And if that force is not of the light, that force will recede into the background, will not try and approach. So crystals are very interesting things. They tend to have minds of their own, and like people that use crystals mechanically and earn a living from the laying out of stones and stuff like that. I've done all that, and I think that's fairly nebulous, and sometimes there's energy and sometimes there's not. There's always a certain amount of light, but whether your chakras are opening and energy's being moved around, that's a very individualistic thing. So Lemurian crystals are great for opening chakras and moving energy around, and I'll go into that in another video. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to join me on www.martinyusuf.com. Thank you. Have a nice day.